We proceeding? Okay, so thank you for having us this evening. We're here to present to you on Pomona Middle School. There is a third person to our team, who is Ms. Wendy Vaca, but she's holding our PTA meeting tonight, building our communication with our families. So she's here with us in spirit. So we can go ahead and get started. So our academic commitment. So our academic commitment, thank you. At Pomona is we're committing to learning and using identified strategies. We really shifted our focus this year on looking at student data through professional learning communities. So our SMARTY goal this year is really to focus on our math and ELA scores and move our students in our ELA and math star renaissance and data, which will initially or eventually impact our overall end of year assessments. How are we going to get this done? Right? So we have our teachers meeting weekly through professional learning communities where they can not only collaborate, but really discuss student data and analyzing their scores so that we're able to really focus on students where they are and where they're going. So how are we going to do this? In these professional learning communities, teachers are identifying students in all levels so that we're making sure that when we're building lesson plans, we're targeting all students, that we're moving all students. We tend to focus on, as an education community, students who are right below that meeting target or students who are falling below, but we don't want to forget the students who are achieving high already because we don't want to lose them in that bracket. So we color code students based on each class and identify it as standard, that we're going to focus one intentional strategy that teachers can really build upon to push those students where they need to go. And as we assess on the next cycle, we look back at that student data and we see what students have truly progressed, and we can look at the actual strategies that were implemented to see were they actually effective. Now this gives our teachers opportunities to build upon their own instructional practices and really heighten best practices across the building. In this time, you'll also see when you walk through the halls of Pomona, in each classroom, there is a data board. This also allows our students to see where they stand as a class, as a community, of where their data is from cycle 1 to cycle 2. Therefore, they can celebrate their successes along the way and encourage each other to push each other to the next level. It's really important that our teachers are seeing the STAR data and they're analyzing it and knowing where their kids are, but it's even more important that our students know where they stand and they're setting goals. So this goes to our last image on the on the right bottom, where you see a conference sheet. After each STAR cycle, each student conferences one-on-one with their teachers. They set goals on where they are, and then they reflect. Did I meet my goal? Did I not meet my goal, and why? This also lets students be able to speak to their parents and build that school-home community as in one, so that we have everybody that can speak upon data. So we're progressing everyone at once. Next slide, please. So this is our impact. If you take a look, we had a baseline STAR data assessment, and then we had our cycle 2. We actually have our cycle 3 coming up very shortly, so we're really excited about what our scores will show. But if you look here, it starts off with our 7th grade and 8th grade reading scores. We thought it was very important to also put down students who have totally tested, because then you can see that we also had an increase in students across the way. So that overall ending cycle 2 data, what it doesn't show is the actual student movement, and I would like to share that. So in 7th grade for cycle 2, 20 students moved a level. In 8th grade, 2 students moved a level. When we start looking at our 7th grade and 8th grade math STAR data assessments, we noticed we had our even greater gains. In 7th grade, we had 36 students jump an entire level in one cycle. And for the 7th grade students who took it in Spanish, we had 38 students who jumped the level. Our goal was really to meet 45 students across the grade in ELA and math, and we're already superseding in our math scores. Our 8th grade students who took it in Spanish, we had 37 students who jumped a level, and those who took it in Spanish were 33 students who jumped a level. This is really important, and looking at this data and talking about it with the teachers and the families, we realized students really do leverage the opportunity to take a assessment in their home language, and it shows across the board. Next slide, please. Go ahead.
All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about the commitment highlights. So as you can see, we're going to address academic goals. So star reading percentile score increased from 38% to 46%. ELA is approaching our school SCEP goal. Next slide, please. Also, as you look further, this is our math percentile. So STAR math increased with high growth with 47% to 59%, and we exceeded our school goal, so which was great for math, from cycle 1 from the fall to from last year to this year. Next slide, please. And as you also can look, students, when they test in their native language, they show growth, of course. This data shows that when students are, provided with bilingual support, they will exceed. STAR Math Spanish also have, the goals have grown from 53% to 59%, so shows from last fall of 2022 to 2023 to this year, so that actually is amazing to see the growth with our students. Next slide. Attendance, very important. So we do want to acknowledge our social workers. We want to acknowledge our secretaries and also our teachers, because it's important that we do communicate with the families. So you see that the 90% percentile this school year is growing. So one of the commitments, we work daily with our average of attendance, which is very important for our school and district. Next slide. And next win, what are our next steps at Pomona Middle School?
So to continue our progress, we're going to continue improving our instructional practices. What does this look like at Pomona? We're going to continue to implement instructional rounds in our next cycles where we have teachers pushing into other teachers' classrooms to build on their best practices that they don't necessarily get the opportunity to do during their professional learning communities. We are going to continue our professional learning communities because we see a big win in them. By teachers being able to know where their students are and where they're going, it is impacting our stores tremendously. And we want to continue to build on accountable talk strategies. What we always say is the ones doing the talking is the one doing the learning. On top of this, we will also improve our instructional practices by providing parent workshops on how to support our ELL learners. Our PTA meetings are ground force for this. Ms. Catherine Morales for the district has been collaborating with Pomona Middle School very often to come in and speak with our parents, whether we do it in person or we do it virtually. We want to continue to outreach and find different resources for our parents to support them at home, because when our parents have that extra support, then our students get even more support. And lastly, we're going to continue to build on our district focus on Lexia English and Lexia Power Up, giving our students a self-assessing platform where they can continue to build on it that meets the student where they are. Thank you. We can continue? Okay, got it. Last one.
All right, our last slide is
Last one.
always providing support for our teachers. So it is important that, teachers are receiving professional development. So we do have, they received the Orton Gilliam training, also working closely with literacy specialists. So we're looking at multisyllabic words, working with students in small groups. Instructional grouping is very important for all our students. And as you can see, this is what we work on with our students with closed syllables, teaching them how to read, and just being supportive to our teachers. So I want to also acknowledge our teachers at Pomona, because without our teachers, there's no Pomona. So thank you.